All right, hello. For those that don't know me, this is Roderick Chappelle, aka Plant-Based Homestead Prepper, and I wanted to come to you and talk with you again. I'm laughing because I'm going down the street and there are like so many branches in the street that people are swerving into my lane to avoid them. Welcome to city life, right? So, wanted to pose another question today, and that is, are you going to take refugees, or are you going to send people away during the collapse? When the SHTF, WROL, TEOTWAWKI, when it happens, are you going to take people in, or are you going to turn people away? And that's a question that I've been battling with myself and my wife have been talking about for years now. And I think it's probably going to go something like this. The grid goes down, and hopefully for everyone, it happens when we're like on a holiday or we're at home and we don't have to try to get home. Because if we have to try to get home, that's a whole nother problem. And like most people that live in the cities, we have to commute to our jobs. Now, unfortunately for my wife, she works about a 45-minute to an hour drive away. And unfortunately for myself, I work in any city. I could be anywhere. I could be literally down the street from where we live, or I can be across the water where she works. And if we are across the water, hopefully we'll have telltale signs. Excuse me, that came out of nowhere. Hopefully we'll have telltale signs that things are happening and we don't need to leave the house. That's my hope. I'm trying this new mic out too, y'all, so y'all bear with me. Y'all know I'm new to this, so we're gonna get it the best way we can. But worst case scenario, and we've talked about this. We've talked about how if we always say zombie apocalypse. Our thing is zombie apocalypse. If zombie apocalypse happened and you at work, babe, what you gonna do? She's like, well, I'm gonna walk home. I'm like, okay. And I'm gonna do another video about EDC, everyday carry. I'm gonna do another video because that's been in my heart to do. I might do that tonight. Some things that you should everyday carry, but I'm gonna have to do that probably when I get home, so I can lay everything out on the table so you guys can see it. But we keep water in both vehicles. Well, all the vehicles that we have. And I have tried to train her and teach her to keep emergency cash. Because when things initially, when everything collapses, I believe that you're going to be able to use cash at first. I think cash is going to be king, especially if the power goes down. I think you'll be able to get a few supplies to be able to get you where you're trying to go. That's my thought. Worst case scenario is you're somewhere you can't get home and you're stuck with surviving with what you have, and it takes you several days to get home. That's the worst case scenario. Well, it's not the worst. The worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is bomb drops and you die instantly. Which I guess that wouldn't be too bad. Then you would have to suffer. But anyway, I digress. So I forgot to cue my intro this time. Y'all remind me to cue my intros. I get a kick out of them even if you guys don't. So we've talked about, if she's at work, what we're gonna do. And I'm like, babe, you got 3-4 days to get home. after that, I'm gonna assume the worst, because you're coming from a long way away. And I was like, and I assumed that you would do the same thing for me. Now, we're always in the back of our minds, we're gonna keep hope. And it really all depends on what the scenario is. Like I tell you guys all the time, my biggest fear is civil unrest. I don't know if there's a prep for civil unrest, especially in the city. Now, if you're in the country, and even folks that are outside of the cities, the hordes of people, what do you think they're gonna do once they leave? Once they strip the cities down to nothing? They're gonna start migrating to the country areas, and at first it's gonna be hordes of people just walking from house to house and pillaging everything that they come across. It's going to be like a plague of locusts, like in the Bible, where they're going to strip everything. I mean, and when people get hungry, they'll eat anything. I mean, I don't even know if trees and bushes are going to even have leaves on them. They're going, I believe that hungry hordes will just do that. And like I say, that's my biggest fear is the civil unrest. And if anybody is watching and you have taken yourself and your family from the city to the country, I would really like to connect with you, because the fastest way to do anything is to have a mentor. I don't care what anybody says. In my opinion, the fastest way to do anything is to have a mentor. And I really would like to know how you did it, what you had to give up, the sacrifices that you had to make, and how long did it take you? Because I have a plan, of that we're on currently to get us out of here. And to be honest with you, I don't like the time frames of my plan. So if somebody has done it, has gone from the city to the country, rural areas, and you have you prepped for it and you made a lifestyle change, I would love to talk with you. Love to. So that's a plug for somebody. But the question I'm asking is, let's say you can get home and you're bugging in. And even if you're in a rural area, you got to have some kind of trip wires, some kind of telltale signs that you got people coming around. Are you gonna have wires set up? You're gonna have cans. You're gonna have, what kind of alarm system? You got smoke bombs. What kind of alarm system are you going to have? And what kind of surveillance and what kind of watch? I'm from the military, so we always had to stand and watch. What kind of standing of the guard? What kind of turn of the guard? What kind of watch system are you going to have? How many people do you have already in your entourage, in your group? How many are already there? Do you have enough people to rotate? I mean, you got to take all that stuff in consideration. And if it's like for example, if it's just my wife and myself, nowhere in the world we can watch. We could technically watch our front and back. We don't really have to worry about our sides. We can technically watch our front and back. But then, when do you go to sleep? Because the moment you turn your back or the moment you snooze off, that's when somebody's going to hit you. So, and I would love to hear you guys' comments about this. Are you going to entertain refugees or not? Because initially, and I believe this wholeheartedly, I believe that if you turn people away during a crisis, I believe you created a foe. I don't care how tight you were before grid down situation and scenario, before SHTF. I don't care how friendly your neighbors were. If you turn them away during a crisis, I really truly believe you just made an enemy. Now, I like to believe the best in people. I like to think that we'd all get together and, have a campfire and get sing kumbaya, but I don't think that's happening. And then, how long are you going to go before you take on new people? What are the questions? Are you going to be like the Walking Dead and ask certain questions? How many people have you killed? How many walkers have you killed? I mean, those are things that you got to think about now, because those are the tough questions that you got to answer during apocalypse, during SHTF, during grid down, during collapse. I mean, we call this stuff so much. During TEOTWAWKI. So I don't know. I don't really know what the answer is to that, because on one hand, you have preps for yourself and for your family. On the other hand, you have preps for yourself and for your family. Then you have extras, or at least if you've been prepping a while, you should. Oh boy, train. Then, who can you trust? And then, can you truly trust the people that you've already, brought into your group? There's always, power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. And what kind of system are you going to have? Are you going to have a monarchy system where it's like Negan? Are you going to have a leader like Rick? And the group has a say-so, like a republic or a democracy? Not really. Or is it just going to be, what you say and that's the way it is? But I will tell you this. No matter how you set up your scenario, a wise leader always takes wise counsel. A wise leader always takes wise counsel. So that's the question I'm proposing to you guys. What are you planning on? Even if you live in the most rural of rural situations, you always have neighbors. And let's say you suspect there's a grid down situation, and you hear a gunshot go off on your property. Are you going to go out and try to figure out where that gunshot came from? It could be somebody just simply hunting on your land. It could be somebody taking a shot at you. I mean, how are you going to deal with strangers? That's the question. How are you going to deal with strangers during a grid down situation? Because I do believe that not everybody is going to be bad. It's just like money. Money doesn't make people bad. It just shows people who they really are. And it expands it and expounds and multiplies and magnifies who that person really truly is. And I think that true colors are going to come out if/when, hopefully never, we go through a hard crisis situation. And then you got to think about this too. Are you going to be that crazy person that's stacking up bodies outside your door? Because you got to think about this too. What if it's just a temporary situation, and we go down for 2 weeks, everybody goes crazy, then all of a sudden, boom, the lights come back on. All of a sudden, boom, we have, everything goes back to normal. So those are the questions that I've been asking myself, and I'll tell you guys what I've come up with initially. I have got to be in a position of authority and power, and I got to turn people away initially. I can give them some suggestions. And my neighbor comes to me like, hey, can you spread some water? We don't have any water. Hey, drink the water out the back of the toilet. Ration the water out your water tank. Next time it rains, collect some water. Put some pots out and collect some water. You can help people without giving your resources away. But then, how long are you going to allow people around you to suffer and die? And how long are people going to just sit in their houses before they take to the streets? You know, those are all questions that you have to answer yourself. And I know a lot of folks that are watching my channel are in urban environments. And the best thing is to get out. That's the best. Now, if we have enough notice, we can get out and go to the bug out location. And I don't know if you guys have watched that movie I was telling you about the American Blackout. You know, there's a family in there. Husband gets his family out the city ASAP. I mean, it's like as soon as he knows something's going down, boom, they get out, they go to the bug out location. But they still have challenges with neighbors, even in a rural situation. Well, he was kind of crazy because he brought the daughter's boyfriend along. Anyway, I don't want to tell the movie. You guys watch it, and then we'll have a discussion about it. But you know, that's another thing. Are you going? Whom are you going to allow into your space? And just because they're family, just because they're blood, does not mean they're a good person. Just because you've been knowing them on your block for 5 years doesn't make them a good person. But also, you got to think about this: whom can add to the group? Who is a handyman? Who is a nurse? Who can fix stuff? I'm that guy. Got all kind of skills. I can fix anything. So if y'all see me coming, let us in, because there's nothing I can't fix. Oh goodness. So those are just questions that I sit and think about. And I don't go into deep thought where I'm getting stressed about it and everything, because I really truly believe, and I try to live a life where when I say we, I'm my wife and I, and we do have children. They're grown children, and they live out the city. And I've told them, I'm like, hey, if and when something happens, you guys, I used to tell them 4 days. You got 4 days to get to our meeting spot. Okay? After that, I'm assuming the worst, and then I'm going back home. But even now, I'm like, I can't leave my bug-in location simply because I'm trying to go and chase you down, because there's too many variables. It's too many variables for me to go out 30 miles, and it's too many variables for you to come 30 miles. And then together we got to go another 30 miles back where I just came from. And when you're looking at a serious scenario in a situation, you got to think about OPSEC, which is operational security. You can't leave the base uncovered. I mean, that's a no-no. It's just like in chess. I don't know how many of you guys play chess, but in the game of chess, you don't leave your king uncovered. You have to protect the king at all costs, because as soon as the king is captured, game over. And I look at the home base, I look at your bug-in location as that's your king. That is your space. Now, are you going to welcome certain people in? Yes. My children, definitely. I mean, if they can get to me, they have safe haven. Certain people that I know in the area, my adopted family, yes. Well, we have to ration like crazy. We're going to ration like crazy anyway. But the more people, the more you have to ration. And then how long are you going to bug in before you start venturing out? Because you're going to have to resupply. I mean, I don't care if you have preps for 5 years. That would be nice. That would be nice to have an underground bunker that has power, has some kind of heating and cooling system, and you got preps for 5 to 10 years. But then again, even under that scenario, in that situation, most of us live a high demanding life. Most of us are not ready. and there are so many layers to this thing. So most of us are not ready to be hunkered down in a bunker for 5 years. That'd be like almost where that would be solitary confinement. What are you going to do to keep your mind occupied to the point where you don't go stir crazy? Because most of us interact with people all day, every day. Even if you don't have a conversation with them, you see people everywhere all day. And then the one day, go into your bunker and not come out for 5 years. What kind of communication devices do you have? See, I mean, it's just so many layers to this thing. And then it all boils down to what created and what caused the collapse. Was it an EMP? Was it a hurricane? Did the president do something and make people go crazy? I mean, it's so many scenarios that could go down and cause, the end of the world as we know it. So that's just some food for thought. And I would really like you guys to give me some comments, and put some thought into it. Just don't give me some knee-jerk response. Oh yeah, anybody come to my door, I'm blown away. Please don't do that. I mean, give me some substance here, because I've been thinking about that one question. I've been thinking about that for years. And initially, I don't know if I can accept people initially, because it's going to be too many. Because I know for a fact that my neighbors around me, even though we're cool and we're tight, I know one set of neighbors, as soon as the water turns off, they're going to be knocking on my door. I already know it. And I already know what the answer is. They knock on my door now. And things are good. Times are excellent. They knock on my door now for stuff. So I know for a fact, when and if something happens, they'll be knocking on my door. And unfortunately, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be so hard to turn them away. But I would have to. That's initially, and I don't know how long that's going to last. So, thank y'all for listening. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciate you guys. I keep telling you, I appreciate you. If you are interested in learning more about how I lost all the weight, got healthy, got in shape, and turned my life around health-wise, go visit me in my group. It's a Facebook group, free Facebook group. Wow, what a tongue twister. www.fastingweightloss.info. That'll take you right to the group. You have to request, and I will approve you. And shoot me an inbox as soon as you get in, so we can have some conversation. And as always, thank you for being here. I love you enough to tell you the truth. God bless. Take care.